Daniel on X, formerly known as Twitter, asks, which current National Party leader faces the biggest challenge? Anushka, what do you reckon?
I think...
Good question, I think.
Kemi Badenoch faces the biggest challenge at the moment. I think there are big challenges all round, but just to run through the others, I mean, obviously it's very difficult for Keir Starmer going towards a 2029 election, but he's Prime Minister, he has hold of all the tools, he gets to make actual changes to people's lives, he has the benefit that the Reform UK Conservative split on the right might well help Labour to carry on. Nigel Farage is having a great time, as we saw with him laughing away as Keir Starmer suggested he was eating the Tories for breakfast at Prime Minister's Questions this week. Ed Davey, Carla Denyer, Adrian Ramsey, Greens, Lib Dems, they're all on the rise. The difficulty has been for the Conservative Party. You thought they couldn't get lower than they were. It's always a difficult time to take over a party. I think she has compared herself to William Hague taking over in 1997, and it is a difficult time. The party was completely trashed in the last election, but she hasn't done anything at this stage to place the party back in contention. And people are getting quite frustrated about that because at least for a number of months, I think Keir Starmer was having a torrid time, and it was the worst start, I think we said, to any new government for decades. And so I think it's really difficult. And also she's got this difficult negative spiral. I don't know if you agree with this, where everybody sort of assumes you're not going to be around for that long, and that makes it very hard. And even, you know, when I've had coffees or lunch with her front bench, you know, they don't explicitly attack her, but it's pretty clear that they're thinking, might she be here going into the next election?
No, I think she's in a very awkward position. I was pondering it this week, actually. I don't really ever think... I mean, I'm always wary. I think we've discussed this before, but one of the things I'm most, you know, in the 10 years as I was political editor, the thing that I ended, you know, I'm not sure I ended up concluding anything of any value whatsoever, which anyone who listened to me during the time may not be surprised by, except for one possible blindingly obvious point, which is that most political analysts spend far too much time over-interpreting things and assuming that because X happened, Y is true. And, you know, poll ratings, local election results, by-election results, constantly over-interpreted. Even general election results, you know, something happens, so you assume it means X and Y. And of course, it doesn't really. Like Gordon Brown always said, a general election is a choice. And sometimes it's a not very appealing choice between two but not very appealing prospects, or, you know, two plus others if you want to go for different parties. But I do think for the first time really in my adult life, there's a proper rival to the Tory party on the right. And given that Reform has been polling in the mid-20s now for quite some time, I do think you're right. I think Kemi Badenoch is in an existential battle with Reform, with the prospect, at least, that the Tory party is replaced as the main party in opposition. And Anushka, you always say, you've said repeatedly, and I think it's just, you've tracked it really beautifully over the years, you know, things are more febrile. Politics is less tribal, and therefore, you know, it's perfectly plausible to imagine that happening.
So volatile, it's almost unbelievable. Now, Kemi Badenoch can think to herself, well, look at how far Labour came from 2019 to 2024. But it's not obvious at the moment that they are on that track. And actually, they've got Reform to one side of them and the Lib Dems to the other, because the more they try to out-reform Reform, the more that your kind of traditional liberal Cameroon Tories might look to Lib Dems instead. And, you know, I think we're getting some local election predictions that we're going to do on the Peston programme this week. And yeah, Reform are mopping up, but Lib Dems and the Green Party are not doing too badly either. It is a very, very volatile political landscape.